All right, guys, it's about 1 o'clock. See, several of you just got on. Thank you so much for joining us today. A little heads up on how these Zoom meetings work is your mics are usually muted, and so I ask that you guys make sure your mics are muted so everybody can hear what's going on. If you have a question, we have several TAC members online right now. They're sitting in the chat room. If you click in Zoom, you'll see that Zoom actually has a chat, and if you click in the chat, you can ask any questions. And our TAC personnel and other DesignSafe personnel inside the chat will be happy to answer your questions. So if you have any questions, go to the chat room, ask them there. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. A little bit about DesignSafe. So DesignSafe, I know a lot of you have used DesignSafe for a little while now. I just like to go through the rundown on if there's any new users out there. So DesignSafe is a cyber infrastructure for the natural hazards community. The entire goal behind this is to set up a web portal for domain scientists who support the natural hazard community to come and do their research work. The idea is we want this infrastructure to be an integral part of your workflow. We have lots of tools available. We have a lot of tools available for you to do your data analysis, for you to do your application design, for you to run simulation software, to do your visualization. And we support numerous amounts of data types. We did not want to lock the user into a specific data format or a specific data structure or a specific data type of file. You can use comma delimited files, you can load in raw data, you can do XML, you can do JSON, and you can write the code that accepts all that as well. We want to be able to support the end-to-end research workflow. We want to be able to, you to use DesignSafe as a place to create your idea, to curate your data, to share your data with other people, for other people to look at your data, and then be able to create their own ideas, do their own research from that data as well. We also want you to be able to publish your data from DesignSafe. So publishing data is kind of a new thing. We want you to be able to, if a research work is going to cite your data, that we can create what we call a DOI. You can curate your data, you can publish your data, you can create a unique identifier to your data. Then people can take that unique identifier and cite that in their work as a reference, and that will point back to DesignSafe and your data set. So in essence, we want to enhance, amplify, and link all the capabilities of every NHERI component into one place for you to be able to take advantage of all the different tools that these components can give you. So the way that DesignSafe is set up is we have a simulation, we have a sim team, we have an experimental team, we have the rapid team, and all of those can access the data depot. So the idea is you can create an experiment, you can run your experiment, it creates data, load that data into the data depot, you can curate and publish that data, and you can take that data and create new work from it, do analysis, visualization. You can create scripts, you can create new apps, and then you can publish those scripts and apps with your fellow DesignSafe colleagues. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to build a community. The best place to go for this community is we have a Slack channel. It's DesignSafe-CI.slack.com. There's a bunch of different topics of discussion. You're more than welcome to create your own topics. You can have private conversation. You can create any channels you want, and there's a typo on this slide, but there is a channel set up for this today's webinar, and it's webinar data transfer methods, not data creation. And you can thread your conversations. And it's a little bit more than just a communication tool. You can set up reminders. So I have reminders so I know that these webinars are coming up. On what Jupyter, I always go there and I copy and paste some really cool links that I find on using Jupyter Notebooks or using Globus that we'll be talking about today. You can start messages for follow-up. You can do site-wide searches. You can create keywords, and then Slack will notify you when those keywords come up into conversation. And of course, there's a /Giphy command. You can respond with a cute little GIF just for the fun of it. And after the presentation's over here today, we will carry the conversation onto DesignSafe just meet us up in the Slack channel, which will be posted at the end of this conversation. All right, with that, where do you go for help? Well, you go to DesignSafe's help menu. So if you look under help, there is a place for the frequently asked questions. So if you have any questions about DesignSafe, I would suggest checking here. We have a broad range of categories. Find the conversation you're looking for and see if that answers your question. If that's not there, you can also then go to the Slack channel, which I suggested. If you can't find anything there, you can go ahead and submit a ticket, and somebody will respond to your ticket and answer any questions you have. Okay. Data transfer methods. So DesignSafe is built around your data. The idea is for you to bring your data into DesignSafe and use the cloud resource that we've provided for you to do your research work on. So the first thing people want to know is, how do we get our data into DesignSafe? There are a few different methods to do that. The most popular method is the best method right now, the most popular method, is going into the data depot. The data depot is a place for your, that is for your data. Your data sits there. It is your own little place on DesignSafe. All your files sit there kind of in a file manager kind of setting, and you can click on your files, you can share your files, you can copy files from one folder to another, you can create new folders, and you can move through all the different connections of DesignSafe. The Data Depot, in the summary, is a multi-purpose data repository for your experiments, for your simulation, and for your field data. It's a flexible data model, so like I said before, we are not trying to implement one data structure to fill everybody's data needs. It's flexible, so you can essentially use whatever data structure you normally use, and you can use that on DesignSafe. From the Data Depot, all right, so to get your data in there, there's multiple ways. The Data Depot does provide a web interface, but there are specifications on what is the best method of transferring your data in. If you're using the Data Depot, or if you're uploading through Jupyter Notebooks, we suggest maybe if you have a small number of files, that is around less than 25, and each file is less than 100 megabytes, you can then use the Data Depot to transfer your files in. We also provide a bunch of different cloud providers. Once again, if you don't have a large amount of files, say 25 files or so, less than 100 megabytes each, you can also use box.com, dropbox.com, or Google Drive. Now, the way these cloud providers are set up is they do not directly sync to DesignSafe. What you will do is you can set up these folders to automatically sync on your local machine, and then you go to DesignSafe, copy it from that cloud folder into DesignSafe. If you have a large amount of folders, or a large number of files, say greater than 25, and they're all large files, or a majority of them are large files, that is greater than 100 megabytes, we suggest using Globus. Now, I know a lot of you probably have gone to DesignSafe and looked through the Globus transfer guide, and it might be a little confusing. So I am here today to clear some of that confusion up. It's actually a really easy task to set Globus up for DesignSafe and transferring your files in. We also give you a command line interface. That's really for our heavy-duty users, and we give you rsync and SCP. And the data transfer guide has a great user guide on using the command line interface. All right, uploading through the portal. Once again, less than 25 files and about 100 megabytes or less for each. So the best place to do is you go to My Data. Now, My Data, like I said, is your repository. To be able to load your files in, you click on Add, and you can add new folders, you can create a new project, you can do your file uploads and your folder uploads. So to upload a file, it's really simple. Click on File Upload. This screen will come up. Choose the files that you wish to upload. So I have some inside my research folder here. Let's say I want to load in my machine learning notebook. So I can click on that, click Open, and go ahead and begin my upload. You can also do multiple files. So if I want to do these 4, I can just select those and hit open. And all 4 will be on there. I just click begin upload, and it'll start cycling through. Now, the way DesignSafe is set up, I said DesignSafe is a cyber infrastructure. Behind the scenes, here at TAC, we're a supercomputing center. So we have about 15 different supercomputing resources. Behind the scenes of this portal are our resources. The main resource holding your data is a machine called Corral. So what happens is every time you are wanting to load a file in or copy a file over or rename a file, what you are doing is you are asking Corral to do these for you. You're creating a job. And that job might be upload this file. This job might be copy this file from this folder to this folder. This job might be renaming this file. So what happens is behind the scenes, you are creating a job that's getting queued up. As the queue goes through, once your job is executed, you'll get a notification that many of you saw on the screen already of your job being finished. And once your job's finished, you'll see that appear in your data depot inside your My Data. If you have, once again, if you have any questions, feel free to jump onto the chat and ask a question. We have plenty of people at TAC sitting in the chat room to be able to answer those for you. Okay, so that's really the way you use the data depot. You can also, of course, do file uploads. If I click on folder upload, rather, if I click on folder upload, I select the folder I wish to upload in and say upload, and it'll go and upload every file within that folder, and it will create that folder for you. And you'll see this upload starting, and once it's finished, we'll get the notification the upload has been complete. Okay, so while that's going on, we'll talk a little bit about these cloud storage providers. All right, so these are medium number of files, about 50 or so, or small number of files, which are of medium-sized files, so 100 megabytes to 250 megabytes. Now, the way these work is you have to go in and specifically connect each of these third-party applications to your DesignSafe account. So to do that, we'll go back to My Data. I'm going to go ahead and let this upload stay, and I'm just going to pull up another DesignSafe window. Let's make it slow down a little bit. All right, I'm going to go ahead and go to the data depot, and we'll see where those where these are and how do you set those up. So right now, DesignSafe supports Box.com, Dropbox, and Google Drive. So you'll see that my Google Drive should not. If I go to Box.com, you'll see here's my my Box.com is actually connected. Looks like I need to disconnect and reconnect. I need to grant the power. We'll go to Dropbox here real quick, and we'll see how you get these connected. So here's my Dropbox account. These are all the folders I have. What I can do is sync up the folders to my desktop, and then from my desktop, copy them into DesignSafe. So I can go in here to my code, see if I have some code listed in here, and be able to check it out. And of course, I'll be able to copy it into my Data. So to connect these third-party cloud providers, under your name on DesignSafe, you'll see that there is a little arrow for folders. What we want to do is we want to go to our dashboard. From our dashboard, there is multiple quick links. One of them is Manage Accounts. So I'm going to go and click Manage Account. And these, of course, are documented on the slides as well. The Manage Accounts, we get to our third-party applications. So if I click on third-party apps, we have the settings for Box.com, for Dropbox, and for Google Drive. So I'm going to go ahead and hook up my Google Drive. So I'll say Manage App Settings. Set up Google Drive. It's going to ask me what I want to set up for. I'm going to use my TAC account. Now you will get this error that says this app hasn't been verified, because this app has not been verified by Google yet. That process takes a little bit, and everything is in there. We're just waiting to get the feedback back. But you can trust us. So if you click on Advanced, at least on in Google Chrome, you can click on Advanced and say go to DesignSafe.org, and it will continue on. DesignSafe will say, hey, we want to be able to view and manage your folder. So click Allow. And you'll see now that my Google Drive is going to be able to sync up with my DesignSafe account. So now it's all synced up. We say Google Drive has been enabled. I go back to my data depot. My Google Drive has been connected. And now I can go ahead and once again select a folder and copy that from DesignSafe, and I can tell it where it wants to go. So you select our destination. DesignSafe training is going to go to my data, or I can put that in my projects or share it with me or copy it into another location. If I want to copy it to a specific folder, I can just select the folder through the interface. Same thing with your Box.com account. And when Box.com, once the same thing will happen, it'll ask you for, you'll ask DesignSafe to authorize access to your files, grant the authorization, and you'll be able to use Box.com to move your files across. All right, you can also upload through Jupyter. Now, Jupyter is one of the applications that has been provided on DesignSafe for you to be able to manage and write scripts against different data files. It also has really good, cool plotting routines. It gives you have Python 2 and Python 3 and R notebooks that you can create. To get to Jupyter, go to the workspace, and we've given lots of Jupyter talks, so everybody should be familiar with it. If you're not, feel free to hit our training archive, and there's a few tutorials on using Jupyter notebooks in Python and in R, and then some dynamic Python as well, and dynamic graphing. All right, so in Workspace, we have a bunch of different tabs. One of the tabs is data processing, and in the data processing is our Jupyter notebooks. So you can click Jupyter from there. Go and click on Launch, and I'm going to log into my Jupyter notebook. The login is the same as my DesignSafe login. And we will have a couple buttons here. One of them will say Start My Server, or if your server's already started, you just Stop My Server. And I'm going to go ahead and go to my server now. And you'll see one of the buttons here is called Upload. If you click Upload, it gives you the same file listing, and just select the files you wish to upload and bring them in. Once again, this interface we're really talking about smaller size files through the Jupyter Notebook, so we're saying about 25 megabytes or less, and a small number of files, say under 25. So if you have bulk transfers of large files, this is not the best option. But if you are writing a test file and you realize you need a smaller set of data, you don't have to exit Jupyter and go back to the data depot to bring that data file in. You can bring that data file in directly through Jupyter. So I'm going to cancel out of that. So we have a little bit of information on how to do that here. All right. So the big one, the big transfer method that we use is Globus. Globus uses a technology called Grid FTP. It is for a large number of files, so greater than 25 files, and larger size files. That's a 100 megabyte file, or 100 megabytes or greater than that. It gives you secure file mapping, secure file transfer, and it allows you to connect to your desktop directly, or if you have set up an endpoint at your work, then your work machines can connect through that as well. Globus is really easy to use. It's very reliable. Once again, you can reliably move, share, and publish your data through Globus directly if you like. and users get unified access to all their data via a single point. Globus is really the preferred method if you have a bulk file transfer. So the way you set Globus up is, I'm going to go ahead and go to Globus right now. Globus.org. I'm going to go and click login. Now, Globus gives you a bunch of different methods. I'm already logged out. I'm sorry. I'm going to log out of this just so you guys see. Go back to Globus here. I'm going to log in. It's got a bunch of different organizations set up. So you just find the organization you need. Ours is, I'm going to be University of Texas at Austin. Go ahead and click continue. So you can go ahead and log in and verify your account. Now, to get Globus to work with DesignSafe, you're going to need to submit a ticket. This is a one-time ticket that you submit. You fill out that, hey, I'm using DesignSafe and I wish to be able to access my data through Globus. Then you'll get this really nice email that will say, hey, your setup here at DesignSafe is complete. And once you finish the completion, you should be able to access your My Data through Globus. Okay, the next thing is if you wish to connect one of your projects to Globus, we do that through kind of a project-by-project basis. Just once again, submit a ticket, and we'll provide you the URL for the project, and we can enable your access for Globus on that. So, using Globus. Now this gets a little. This is where the confusion comes into play at. All right. Your TAC DesignSafe account requires a certificate subject or a DN from Globus, all right? To do that, you go to cilogon.org. I'm going to go ahead and click this link. And I'm just going to go ahead and show you what that looks like. All right. I'm going to select my provider. Once again, it's going to be TAC or Texas. And it could be anything. You could do a Google search on here, or you can do for Google as well. So University of Texas, Austin. Now, it's going to give me, I could go ahead and put a password for a new one. I already asked for one before, and it's going to give me this certification subject. It gives me the identity provider, and the type level of assurance is basic. All right. I can go ahead and type in a password and get a new certificate if I wish. I'm going to go ahead and show you. We have this certificate set up. Now, this is a multi-stage process. Unfortunately, this is the only way to get that secure link established. So once that's set up, if you go to portal.tac.utexas.edu, this is the guide behind. I'm going to minimize this a bit so we can see it. What we want you to do here is you're going to need to log in with your TAC account. Your TAC account and your DesignSafe account are the exact same account, all right? So I'm going to go and log in with my user, Charlie, and my password. I'm going to click login. Now, once you're here, you can now go and click on, you should be able to log in without a problem. Go to Manage Profile. Managing your profile, now, you'll see that there is a button underneath your account profile called Manage DNs. Click on that. Now, here is where you'd add, whoops, I didn't copy and paste that in. Copy that. And paste that in. Now, once I set this up and I associate it, I believe I already have it up here, so I'm not going to do this again. It is going to build that distinguished name for me. Distinguished name here, certification subject name there, they mean the same exact thing. Once you associate it, it is now set up that you can now copy your files over, all right? So if you click associate, it'll link it up and everything will be set. The final stage is Globus can be a little difficult to navigate, all right? So to do that, we need to figure out where we find our data at. There are endpoints. So the way Globus works is it sets up 2 endpoints. That's where it sets the data to be able to transfer from one side to the other. One of the endpoints is going to be your local machine. Now, if you notice, your local machine probably will not show up here off the bat. So what you need to do is you can click on endpoints, and you can add Globus Connect personal endpoint. So this, you kind of give it, you give your display a name. So I would type work machine, TAC, MacBook Pro. All right. I can generate a setup key. They'll go ahead and generate this key for me that I can go and copy and put into the software once I download it. Then, what software do you have? Are you using a Mac? Are you using Linux? Using Windows? Whichever version it is, go ahead and download it, install it, and then type in the setup key. Once you have that setup key in the software, you'll be able to use that as an entry point for Globus. Finally, when you got all that set up, the other endpoint, of course, is going to have to be DesignSafe. To do that, if you click on endpoint here, the best thing to do is search for TAC. And like I mentioned earlier, TAC, or one of our resources called Corral3, is what the data, DesignSafe data, is sitting on. So click on Corral3, and the data structure will come in here. We're going to go to RPEL, so that's a replicated file system, so everything's secure there. Going to go to Projects, and we're going to go to NHERI, and we're going to go to, find it, Shared. Now your username will show up in here somewhere in alphabetical order. So I'm going to go to my username. There I am, Charlie. Double select it, and you're going to see that this is my data in the data depot. These are exact folders I have there and all the files I have there. In fact, I probably even have that data file folder that I just uploaded at the beginning of this presentation. So here are all my files. So if I wanted to bring in more files from there, I'd be able to have my endpoint, which would be my local machine, take the data and transfer it over there, and it'll start doing its secure copy. And then, of course, we have some options on how we want to transfer our data. You can give it a label, so that way it'll be a logged transaction. What you can set up syncing options, you can delete your files on the destination, and you do some encrypted transfers. All right, finally, we have the command line options. All right, so these are medium number of files and medium sized files, which is less than 500 megabytes. So if you're a Unix expert and you are really comfortable typing in commands and not have to have a user interface, then you can use the command line interface to transfer your files. We support things like SCP and rsync are probably the two most popular ways of transferring your files over. To use SCP, you use SCP, your file name, your username at data.tac.utexas.edu. So this username is your DesignSafe username. You're going to do your path to the directory you're searching for, very similar to what the path here is. All right, and be able to copy your file through. I suggest doing if you're not sure how to use SCP, which stands for Secure Copy. If you're not used to SCP, I would suggest doing a man page on that. And then, of course, we also do rsync. So rsync is a reliable method of transferring files. The best, once again, the way you do it is use rsync, name the file you want to copy, your DesignSafe username at data.tac.utexas.edu / the file name to your project. Now, one thing I should mention about projects, all projects have a project ID associated with them. So this is how you would copy it into a specific project ID, pardon me. And then, of course, you move things over. Once again, the AVTR option is a great way to transfer files, so you see what every individual file that's being transferred across. Okay, so really this kind of does it for our data transfer webinar. We really wanted to keep this short and to the point. The idea was introducing you guys to Globus. I understand that Globus, the user guide on Globus can be a little confusing, but the main thing is if you go, the main things to remember is going to DesignSafe, submitting a ticket, and then getting your CI logon. Go to CI logon and get your certificate subject, or also known as the distinguished name. Moving that into your TAC portal account. Once that's been set, you can transfer your files in bulk from Globus to DesignSafe. Once again, thanks a lot for joining me today. We will carry on this conversation in the webinar for this webinar in Slack under the webinar DesignSafe Data Transfer Methods room. If you have any questions or any suggestions or want to see some further training on any of the subjects or any of the technologies that we use on DesignSafe, feel free to email us at training@designsafe-ci.org, and we'll take your suggestions and see if we put together a webinar on that. If you have any questions, once again, you can feel free to fill out a ticket or find us on DesignSafe under the hashtag general channel or the training channel. The next training webinar is going to be kind of a power user Jupyter webinar. We're going to introduce you to how to launch jobs directly through a Jupyter notebook instead of going through DesignSafe's workspace. Okay, if there are any questions, I'm going to go ahead and open up the chat channel and answer questions there. Once again, we will jump over to the DesignSafe channel here in a little bit after we close the Zoom session out. Once again, thank you so much for joining me today, and I will hope to see you guys next time. Appreciate it. Thank you.